Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. I wasn't sure at first what I should do today. Don't really have any projects I can work on with this. Basically what you can see is what I have for space I can work in. But I thought I finished all the drawings that I had in this paper pad. I did the kitty one and the horse one, and those had been sitting in there for 2 and 3 years. And so I thought, why not do a new drawing in here and actually show what I've been explaining all this time, which is how this awesome paper pad works. So, and then I can also use more of it and get more of these drawings into my portfolio, stuff like that. It's nice and small, so I can work in this small space and still create something. So I'll explain again how this works. This comes with 3 different kinds of paper. It has tracing paper, which is this clear paper, you can see through it. Sketch paper. And then in the back, so it goes trace, sketch, trace, sketch. All the tracing paper and sketch paper are one after another. And then in the back is this nice Bristol that is great for markers. It's not very good for colored pencils, but I've only been using colored pencils for doing final little detail work, so it's been fine. But they've got all the Bristol in the back. It does come with more trace and sketch paper than Bristol, but I think that's fine because you might end up wanting to use the trace and sketch paper on something else. Like you might want to use these on a piece of watercolor paper or something, or a larger sheet, anything. So what I've been doing is pulling out a pair of sketch and trace paper together, trying to keep them attached to one another. So if I pull them out at the same time, then it usually keeps that little adhesive that keeps the pages in. Yep, it's just so much easier if this remains attached, because then it won't move and you don't have to worry about taping it or something like that, because taping is really tough on sketch paper because it's so light. I mean, it's like so thin that it tears easily when you try to take the tape off. So I'll also take out one of these sheets of Bristol from the back. Gotta go at it a little bit to get it to come out nice and clean. Just keep pressing on the seam, keep pulling a little bit. There we go. Sometimes if you force it, you can end up bending it. You could, I don't think you'd tear this thick of a page, but you could definitely crease it or damage it in some other way. So I'll explain at the beginning, but then I'll also be showing you as I draw. The first thing I'm going to do is draw on the sketch paper. Hi Kaylee, welcome to my stream. You came right at the beginning. First you sketch on the sketch paper. You can be as messy with the sketch as you want, because that's the beauty of the tracing paper. Once you have the sketch the way you want, you trace it on the tracing paper, and then you do graphite on the back along the lines. Then you stick your Bristol in between, and this is another reason why it's great to keep the sketch paper and the tracing paper together, because then you can also make sure that the Bristol stays in line, because they'll sort of be holding on to it. And then you'll trace over your sketch again, which will transfer the graphite from the back onto your page. And you can ink this page, or if you're doing it like on a watercolor sheet, you don't even need to ink it, you can start painting. And then that way you get nice clean lines without any of the leftovers from sketching. So today I wanted to do something easy that I would definitely be able to finish within my streaming time. So I'm just going to sketch a bunny rabbit. I'm not going to look at a reference or anything. Just figured Easter's coming up. I'll just do some sort of stylized rabbit character. Kind of like that kitty that I colored a couple days ago. So let's start with a round head. And this is great because you don't have to, like, I'm not using my super hard pencil or anything. You don't have to be careful with your sketch. You can be as messy, you can be as hard as you want on the paper. As long as you can tell what you were trying to draw in the end when you go to trace it. So I'm going to make it kind of floating. Like a floating rabbit character. It's got huge feet. Let's make the feet huge. Huge feet. If you hear that little wailing, that's Kiba. He's meowing at the window. The cats have seriously got cabin fever. Kiki snuck out of the room while I was trying to bring in my lunch and my water thing, so my hands were full, so I couldn't stop her. She's such a naughty girl. And Kiba's been trying to somehow find his way through the window. Alright, let's make sure we got this cute bunny tail. Should we make it a fluffy one, or should we make it more like a curved one? Kind of like Bugs Bunny. Or maybe I'll just do a fluffy one. A big round one. Well, I've always liked the prick ears on a rabbit. I have this feeling like people tend to prefer lop ears, which are the dangly ones, but I just love these ones that stand straight up. I think they're the cutest. They're so long and yet they stand straight up, just so adorable. This is going to be super stylized. I'm not worrying about anatomy or anything. I'm not worrying about making it realistic like I might if I was doing like a chibi rabbit caricature type of thing. I'm making, instead of caricature, I'm making a character today. So this technique with these sketch paper, tracing paper, and your final paper, you can do it with anything. You do not have to buy this specific brand of paper that I'm using. I just really like it because it's so convenient. It's all the same size. It all comes in the same paper pad, so you can just bring it with you without bringing 3 different paper pads somewhere or something. Like all the drawings that I was finishing yesterday and the day before, they were all done from start to finish. The ink job was all done in a cafe. And I wouldn't want to bring a pad of sketch paper, a pad of tracing paper, and a pad of whatever my final paper. I wouldn't want to bring that into a cafe, but bringing a single pad that has all 3, there's no problem doing that for me. Okay, give me my little brush. Yeah, this is turning out great. Another thing that's nice is if I don't like the placement of this from left to right, and it's something that I have problems with sometimes, and like I already feel like it's a little bit too far to the left. I prefer my stuff to be centered. And all you have to do is shift your final piece so that your drawing will be centered. It's just another great reason to do this technique. Let's see. Aw, thank you. I was really struggling though. It took me all night to think of what I was going to do, and then it finally struck me when I was thinking about it this morning. I could not. I was like, I have no idea. I have no idea. And then I was looking at the paper pad from yesterday, still out, like, well, why don't I just do another drawing like those other ones? Free, no pressure. I already need my smaller eraser. Kaylee, are you looking forward to Easter? Are you doing any Easter themed art projects? I'm just going to start adding in all the details. Not much to it. Guess I'll give it 3 toes. That's kind of a cartoony thing to do. Aw, you could have an adult Easter egg hunt. That's what I'm doing for my birthday, since I had to wait until I was an adult to have an Easter birthday. So I'm celebrating as if I'm a kid this year. And all of my peers, all of my friends can be kids this year too. I'll hunt Easter eggs. Although I've got some grown-up grand prizes, like, well, just in case anyone's watching, I won't say anything, but you have to be 21 and older to consume some of these prizes I've got for Easter egg hunt. Should I do this arm out? I think I'll finish this foot first. Aw, that's sweet. Chocolate. I can't wait to have some Easter chocolate. That's the best part about Easter, in my opinion. When I was a kid, I loved getting my Easter basket with all the candy in it. Let's see. Since this foot is so big, I'm not sure if it should wrap around or if the heel should. I think the heel should stick out. That doesn't look quite right. Your mom made you hunt eggs? Oh, that's sad. Hunting eggs should be fun, so if you're forced to do it, that's not fun. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Yep, I couldn't believe I had to wait until I was going to turn 32. I could finally have an Easter birthday once I was 32, when the internet finally came around and I was able to actually look it up. And I was like, ugh. I think at the time, it was like I had to wait 10 or 15 years or something. It seemed like it would never get here. I was like, oh, forget it. Okay, I'm not liking this foot. I'm not liking the angle. I'm going to redrop. Based on the angle of the leg, the foot needs to be angled away and not facing the viewer. This is why this system is great. I can just erase this and all this stuff isn't even going to matter. It's not going to show up in the final. I can erase as much as I want, make the page as dirty as I want. Even though I've given the upper paws 3 fingers, I'm going to give the lower paws 4 fingers because, well, toes, because it's so big. Can definitely fit. Can definitely fit. Maybe I will angle this side of the foot. bigger one. Bigger eraser. I love having multiple sizes of erasers. So convenient. It's thanks to Art Snacks. I did not think such a thing existed, even though I'd wanted it. And then I got one in Art Snacks box. I was so happy. Alright, I want to make the fluffs on this tail really like big and cartoony. I don't want to do a lot of little lines. I want to do like a few big points. Yeah, like this. There we go. Just want this to be really big and round, and even when it needs to be fluffy, it's just going to be... I guess I'm really toning down the details. Okay, so this foot, it's almost the same way as the other one. Make sure to get this curve in it. It's got to come down a little bit for the heel. Kiki's sneezing. We're taking her to the vet today to see if they can give her... I'm hoping they have some sort of allergy medication injection or something, because if we try to give her pills, she bites us. So we've just let her suffer for a long time because she doesn't understand that the medicine will make her feel better and not have to sneeze all the time. And she thinks we're torturing her, and she'll bite and scratch and fight us if we try to give her medicine. Like, if push comes to shove, we can force her to take her medicine, but I don't want her to come to dread us or anything like that. So if there's some injection, maybe like monthly injection or something, that's what I'm hoping to ask the vet about today. She just sneezes all the time. She just got bad allergies. Something about this leg I'm not liking. Let's see. Maybe I need to make it thinner. Have the heel come out. No, that heel's too big. Make the heel smaller. Something about it I don't like. Something about this part. Well, that's a good idea. Yeah, if they don't have an injection, we'll try that. That's a good idea. We could crush it up and maybe we could add it to like some chicken broth or something, so she'll really like it too. And she'll start thinking it's a treat. Okay, I think what I'm not liking is that the foot is so high up, it doesn't seem to match the same way with the leg as the other foot. Let's see, maybe if I angle it in or something. Let's see. like that either. No. Let's try this. Maybe the whole leg is wrong on this side. Getting there. I want to draw a little more on the head. So if the thigh's here, and maybe I just need to not show that other leg. I think I like this better. Just don't even show the other leg. Have the foot covering it up. No, this little one. There, I like that much better. Yay. I think I want to add a little... Yeah, that's too cute. I can't not do the little paw pads. I'm going to do an egg shape. It'll be a really subtle reference, but I'm going to make this big paw pad an egg shape. Reference for Easter eggs. Maybe I'll shorten this line a little bit. Ah, yes, that's much better. I'm glad you think it looks good too. How many times did I try to fix this? Like 5 or 6 times. But that's why I love this system. I can keep erasing and fixing and erasing, and it's not going to leave any marks on the final drawing. Now maybe I will make this a little more fluffier here. Yeah, I'll take that little line from the thigh down a little bit. Okay, I think that's good for the body. Oh, I'm going to make this a little wider right here. Okay. Now the head. Not sure what kind of face I'm going to give it. I'll do everything else first. The ears. I want to draw a little fluff in here. And it will kind of bring this fluffy from the tail, bring that shape up here too. Something I don't like about the second one. Let me see. Maybe I'll just make them go the same direction. Yeah, I like that better. Instead of mirroring it, just have them go the same direction. Not sure if I should do anything at the base of this ear, just leave it like this. I think that's fine. Oh, there's razor shavings all over me. Swipe some of those away. Okay, I'm going to clean up the area for the face. Since its head is so big, I think I should probably finish the line for the chin. Now, rabbits have that cleft at the nose. So I wasn't trying to be super realistic, but I want to make sure it looks like a rabbit face and not a cat face. So I think the nose and mouth area is really important. I think the noses kind of go down like this. I look at the rabbits every year at the fair, but I've never had a pet rabbit, so it's kind of hard for me to remember. To remember exactly what they look like. To be smiling. I think that's close enough for not looking at a reference. Now, I don't know if I want to do a little. Nah, probably not. I won't do a little like bottom lip indication. I wonder if I should do a little buck teeth to indicate their teeth. It's a big part of rabbits is their teeth. Little buck teeth. Now I want it to be cute, so I want to make the eyes big and low. I don't know. I'm going to shade them in to see if this looks right, because right now they look kind of crazy. They look like a psycho rabbit. I don't want it to be a psycho rabbit. I want it to be a cute rabbit. Okay, I'll definitely share it on Mix. Thank you for stopping by today. It was great to chat with you for a little while. Have a great day. I think that's cute enough. And if I do really super stylized pink blushies, you know, like they are so not realistic. They stick off the face and everything. I wonder if I should give it eyelashes. There, yeah. I'll give it little eyelashes too. Okay, so this is, yeah, this is good enough for my sketch. And you can see it perfectly through the tracing paper. Oh, little eraser shavings still here. Let's get rid of those. So, I guess a tip is, it actually is better to use a softer pencil. So this is just standard mechanical pencil, lead, and it's soft enough so you get these nice dark lines for your sketch, because then it will show up even better through the tracing paper. Like, there's almost no difference in how well you can see this. So what I do first is I just take a pen, and this is just to trace the lines. So you just need a single pen. Don't worry about using, like, you know, a fancy brush pen or anything like that. Just get a simple pen. You could even use a ballpoint pen. It doesn't have to be an art pen. The whole point is just to get the lines down. And I wonder if 5 is maybe a little too big. No, I'll try the 5. So all you do, since you've got this still connected at the top, you don't have to worry about taping them together or anything. Just trace. Just trace the lines. Try not to be too sketchy with it, unless you're really going for a sketchy style in the final piece, because then it will be really easy to copy them over, so that you're not like, oh wait, which line did I want to keep? You know, just try to get, if you only want one line in an area, make this your one line. And I like to use a pen, because then that way I won't smudge it when I go over it again in order to transfer it onto the final page. And this technique actually has some advantages over my preferred technique, which is using a light table or a light box. And that's because you can see these lines. You're not putting these lines behind and having it lit from behind, because whenever you do that, it kind of obscures the lines through the paper, and I always find it kind of hard to be sure of what I'm seeing, and I'm often doing this, you know, in order to see the original and make sure that I'm drawing what I wanted. The lines that you're tracing are always on top. I mean, once you've traced them at this point. Alright, the head is done. Onto the body. I'm going to draw these paw pads first, because they'll definitely be sticking out past the lines of these toes. This is a time-consuming way to do a drawing, but if you really care about craftsmanship and having a really clean piece at the end, this is the best way to do it. It's so worth the effort. I think you get more out of the extra time spent than you would if you just spent that time making more drawings that were not as clean and tidy, because the final presentation is so much better. So that's all there was to that. Next step is to flip this over, and on this tracing paper now, I'm going to take a pencil. It's better if you use a pencil that is not a mechanical pencil. But I need to, so I only have this 3H super hard one. You need a softer one. So I'll be right back. I've got to get a softer pencil. Okay, I found a few different pencils, but this was the first one that was soft enough. It's softer than I want. It's a 5B, so that's quite soft. If you go too soft, or if you use really soft charcoal or something, you'll get a whole imprint. Like everything will come off. You want only what you press down from above to come off on the page. So hopefully this won't be too soft. Now all you have to do is draw the graphite on the lines from behind. And just make sure the line is well covered, because you're going to trace over it and transfer this graphite onto your final page. Gotta be careful not to miss anything. Of course, if you realize you missed something, you can go back and add more graphite, but then you'll have to make sure that you line up the picture perfectly, because you'll have to take out the page, and flip the tracing paper over. So it's just much better if you get it all covered the first time. And there are techniques where you can just cover a whole tracing paper with graphite, and I've done that before for a really large piece that was on illustration board, so it was absolutely impossible to, or it might have been a huge watercolor board, but anyway, it was impossible to use a light table on that. Like, this tracing technique was the only way I was going to get my sketch onto that board. So I just used a huge 18 by 24 page, covered it really well with graphite, And then if you do that, you can reuse that page. You don't have to throw it away after one use. You just put that that graphite covered page in between your trace and the final one. But with this technique, you're putting the graphite directly on the tracing paper. You can also buy tracing paper that's already covered in graphite really well, but I would rather just save money and spend time creating my own piece that I can use over and over instead of buying. They come in rolls, that's what I've seen. They might come in pads too. But if you make just one big one, then you can use it for all sorts of sizes of stuff, as long as they fit within that overall format. Almost done here. I don't think I missed anything, but I will go over and check before I start tracing. And for tracing, you don't have to use a pencil. I use a pencil, but you can actually get stuff like you can get a stylus, so you're not drawing a second time. But I've just never gotten a stylus. It's not important enough that I need to go out and buy it. Just use a pencil. Okay, I just blew all of the extra graphite off. So now, like I said earlier, I felt like I drew this a little too far to the left. So to compensate for that, I'm going to put my final page slightly to the left. And that should make it so that, I'll get a little graphite here. It must be on the back. Should make it so it's centered, but I think I need to push this a little bit over this way. Yeah, it was just barely too much, so let's make sure it's even. Yeah, maybe even a little bit farther in. This is great because you can get it right on the original and you don't have to go fix it in Photoshop later. The original piece will be nice and centered. There. I like that. So now you can take whatever sort of implement you want. I like to use a pencil. So this is where a hard pencil comes in really handy. You can use the hard pencil to really push down and you won't like break your lead or get tons of mess everywhere. And then using a pencil or using a pen over pencil or something like that, you can kind of tell where you've already drawn in case you forget. But with this simple of a drawing, I think I'll just be able to remember whether I drew over it or not. So all I'm doing is just tracing over, and I'm pushing pretty hard because I want this graphite to transfer down. And you just go over each of the lines again. And you gotta press hard because the graphite transfer is actually pretty subtle. Maybe since I use such a soft pencil, it will be more bold than usual, but it's not as dark a line as just drawing directly on the page with a pencil. If you forget if you drew something or not and you can't tell, you can always lift the page up, but that carries the risk of getting off track. So I try not to look until the very end, because the pages might not line up exactly the same way when you put the tracing paper back down. Okay, so I believe the head is done. This technique is also good because if you want to trace it more than once, if you want to do this drawing again and you want to do it on a different type of paper, or you just don't like what you did before and you want to start over, you can trace this as many times as you want. And I think this little line on the thigh is the last one. Now let's check. There it is. Doesn't look like I missed anything. What was this, a 5B? The 5B did do a little extra leftover graphite, but it's still so light, I'm positive I'm going to be able to what am I trying to say? Erase it. So now let's see, what am I going to use? I think I had been using a brush pen on all those previous pieces, but I don't know if this one makes as big of lines as I want. I kind of want to be really bold with it. Got this black magic marker in here too, ink marker. Well, I guess it's just like a really big pen. Yeah. Try this for the outside. Doesn't taper off as much as I'd like, but it's alright. Yeah, 5B is a bit too hard. I had so many pencils trying to go through it, I didn't want to take too long. I was only finding HBs and 2H and stuff. It's like, no, that's not hard enough. I mean, soft enough. So if you cover the lines really precisely, these graphite lines that you've drawn actually won't even have very much to erase, especially if you don't use a 5B like I did, because I'm smearing the graphite, but it's still so little, I'm sure I'm going to be able to erase it right away. Now for here, I'm only going to do this for the outside. there's the outside. Now I want to get some nice tapered lines out of this. Yeah, I'm smearing the graphite everywhere. Never tried to use this Plumchester pen like this before. It's not what I prefer out of a brush pen. It's more like a calligraphy pen with the way it bends. It's sort of like it's going to bend to one angle. Working with it though. Because they're not geeky. Little egg shapes here. One last line. Here, that's all you've got to do with the ink. I'm going to let it dry for a second. I'm going to be right back. Okay, hopefully that's been a long enough dry time. I will erase around the outside first just to give it that extra time. And clean up all these smudges. And it's going to clean up really, really well since this was not directly drawn on with a pencil. Let's wipe all that stuff off. Okay. You know, I never put my glasses on. They're all dirty still from yesterday. I moved them out of my way while I was setting up my station here. I forgot to actually put them on my face. Dang it. Hate how little, those little specks. There, I think that's good. Alright, let's start erasing this line art. The one downside to this style of transferring a sketch to a final page when compared to using a light table or a light box is that you're still erasing over your ink lines if you're doing an inked drawing. If you're just going to be painting it over it anyway, then that doesn't matter, but I usually do this style, and so the problem with erasing on your ink lines is that it erases a little bit of the ink too, so they end up being a little bit faded, and like once it's all colored and stuff, you can't really tell, but I can always tell the difference when the ink is getting erased away a little bit. Now I want to look, just want to see if there's any little spots that need some extra help to get nice and clean. Looking around the edges first, since I did smear a lot with my hand. I don't really see anything. So now my drawing is nice and clean. There's no sketchy graphite left over. There's no indentations in the paper from the graphite, from the pencil pushing down into it. Looking for all the little tiny things that nobody else would even notice, but I notice. So I'll just make it that much more clean and tidy looking in the end. Oh, would you look at that? a little graphite on the back. Let's erase that. Probably from the original sketch, since this was sitting on top of the sketch page. There. Okay, so that's the transfer process that I use with this sketchbook. Well, it's not a sketchbook, it's a paper pad. So if you watched the last couple of videos, now you can know how the line art was made for that cat and the horse that I colored. And I still have plenty of sheets in this book, so I'm sure I'll come back to it and do another one. And this was the most basic thing you can do. Looks like I still have plenty of time, so let's add some more detail. Once this is all erased and all the basic lines are done, you can go over again with a pen, and I'm going to use a smaller micron pen this time, size 2. And you can clean and tidy and even out your lines, because you are not, I think, because I used to feel like this when I first started drawing in junior high school. I somehow got this feeling that, like, the first line I made on the page, that stroke, that was what I was stuck with, and I just wasn't, if I didn't like it, it just meant I wasn't a good enough artist yet. But actually I learned from one of those how to draw manga books that it's recommended to go back again and clean up your lines, and it's like, oh, that's why manga and stuff like that has such beautiful, perfect lines. It's not that they're so skilled that they just need one swipe to create the perfect line every time. They go in and do all this little detail work. And it's kind of tedious if you don't like doing it, so you don't have to do it, of course, but I think it really adds to the final look of a piece if you go in and add a little here and there, smooth it out, bulk it up. You have that option. You don't have to stick only with what your pen put down the very first time, especially since sometimes your hand shakes, or you thought you were going to make this type of line but the other kind came out and you're like, that's not the look I wanted. Just go in here and fix it. You can add details too. You can add hatching, you can add that dark blacked in shading. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. It's like right here, I want to make this more of a smile. So both cheeks are smiling upwards. I'm going to taper this end of this line more so it comes to a point. Make all these come to nice points. outside came out really well. I don't think I need to add anything to that outside line. This line a nice point. So we'll add more points to this part of the outside line. And I do have some other art to work on that's kind of a secret project. So when I'm done with this, I think I'll end early because I don't want to work on this project on camera because I want it to be a surprise. I've been trying to work on it, but I've just been sleeping so poorly the past few weeks that by the time afternoon hits, all my energy is totally gone. So, since I've got the opportunity to end early today, I could get some work done on it before that exhaustion hits. But I definitely want to do the best I can with this one first. It's looking pretty good. Maybe what I do want to do is add a little more around the outside, just in certain areas. Make it really bold. That's something I noticed in my last two drawings that I finished off, those drawings that I rediscovered. The line art looked really bold to begin with, but then once I added all the color, it got lost. I don't necessarily want the line art to be the main focus, but I want it to stand out on its own. Still. I'm going to give it this extra burst of bold, so that when I color this one, the line art will hopefully still stand out and not be totally obscured by the color. Do some extra bold on the inside too. What the heck? Why not? I don't know how I will feel once I actually get around to coloring this, but I kind of feel like I want to make this a pink rabbit. I've just been really feeling the pink for Easter this year. Yeah, I think that's good. Not doing anything in the eyes because I want to leave that for the color. Well, maybe I will do a little bit on the teeth right here. Yep, I like that. I guess the only thing is I'd like to make these eyelashes stand out more on this side. Since it made them stand out so much, I'll make sure this top part is really dark and thick to match. My favorite bunnies are those white ones with black around their eyes, like little eyeliner. They have the prick ears like this. It's so cute. I think they're called Maxwell bunnies or something. I can't remember, but they're just the cutest. A little more, a little rise right here. Awesome. I'm going to call it good here. I will sign it. Where should I sign it? Maybe I'll sign it along its back. There we go. Yay, another one of these cool, what is this brand called? Borden and Riley number 123 artist book drawings using a tracing technique. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.